All right. This is Ultraviolet Grasslands. We're here with one of our old travelers, Phaedrid, and a new traveler, played by Heath. Heath, would you like to introduce yourself and your hero?
Sure. I am Heath, and I am in this game. I am now Modan Fig, a a wandering, nomadic, traveling legume farmer. Who's I think the reason he's the traveler is he didn't really, farm life is boring, so he took it upon himself to be the one who can go out and sell the legumes and the beans. 'Cause at least he gets to travel that way and see cool places and bring love of beans to everyone.
And you are a traveler, I see.
Yes,
Excellent. With the traditional marching staff dagger and traditional rifle.
indeed.
Awesome. And Mike, could you give a brief introduction of Phaedrid?
Sure. Hi, my name is Mike. My pronouns are he, him. I will be playing Phaedrid Utani, also he, him. Phaedrid is a is an advertising engineer from the Decapolis. Um, he is also a practitioner of the magical arts, which he uses to attempt to sell stuff.
Nice. Let's see. We are minus our Serena, which we'll take care of in just a moment. Yillis is our Dreamwalker who's been off in Dreamland for the last week or so. So we are now here um at the Citadel of the Porcelain Princes. This is a few about a month and a half west of the Violet City where y'all started off, I think. Um, Last time you, let's see, what did we do last time? We went from the steppes of the Lime Nomads and traveled a bit. Do you remember what happened on the road? I didn't write anything down for the actual travel.
In the steppes of the Lime Nomads,
Yeah.
when we traveled from the Violet City, that was a 2 week journey. And let me think, what did happen? We were attacked by like mechanocentipedes.
Mhm, mhm.
There's these biomechanical centipedes that erupted out of the ground, and um, instead of attempting to fight them, which we thought would be a bad idea because we are not. Let's just say we are not a combat focused group. Um, we basically threw a sack of provisions at them, hoping that they would go for those, and they did. And while they were tearing apart our provisions, we beat feet out of there. Later, we encountered an encampment of the Lime Nomads. They were prepping for some kind of big party or festival or something, and they invited us to join them. So we partied down with the Lime Nomads, and let's see, we attempted to impress them with stories, and we're not terribly successful at that. Um, but we did manage to. But we did. They did like us enough for them to be willing to sell us basically some bottles of their distilled liquors, which, if you drink them, yes, you get drunk, but it will also heal you. We also picked up a rumor from them that there was a strange cave nearby that was perfectly circular, and that there had been rumors that there were like people have gone in there and didn't go out, but there was also like interesting stuff in there. So we decided to go investigate. And we went over there and we found a perfectly spherical cave that was, perhaps magically like created. Um, the bottom like third of it was in this pool of slimy, soupy water or some other liquid. And while exploring that, a colossal like octopus sorcerer creature came out of the water, and we had a very interesting and very polite conversation with her. She amused us so much that she like went down to the bottom and pulled out a this thing about the size of like a beer keg that was remarkably light and fragile looking, that she said to be a treasure from long, long ago. which we took off our hands, or all 8 of them. We then ventured off to the. We then continued. We then returned to our camp and continued to the. Continued traveling to the Porcelain Citadel. We did make another discovery along the way. It was like the bones, or like
Yeah.
it's basically, it was like a giant. It was like the fossilized rib cage of some kind of giant creature. So we decided to check that out. There were, I don't know, some kind of cultists that were attempting to do some kind of worship there.
Nomads.
Yeah, more of like a different clan of the Lime Nomads. So we poked around a little bit. And while we were there, some strange, weird creatures kind of popped into existence. They're like multi-dimensional creatures that shifted into the third dimension, and they didn't want to talk. They wanted to eat us, I guess. So the group decided to fight them. Phaedrid mostly took them out by using a spell called Tragic Missile. From there, we went on to the Citadel of the Lime Nomads. We had a little encounter with the guards, and then went to an area. We kind of explored the open areas, and went to one section of one section of the open air town where it seemed to be where caravans went to reposition and reprovision, and where you could let our ponies and rent some stables for our ponies and camels. While we were there, we met some of the Spectrum satraps, who were traveling on this giant multi-legged walker. And so we got to talking with them a little bit, and did some trading with them. We traded we traded what trade goods we had for different trade goods, and we also ended up selling them that weird ancient technology that the octopus sorceress gave us. It turned out to be kind of dangerous, so it was good to get it off our hands. It was this very it was a very powerful energy power cell that was malfunctioning, and hitting it really hard would probably have caused it to explode. But they were going to try to fix it, and they were happy to give us quite a lot of money for it.
Yeah, which you still have, right? I'm sure.
Which we still have most of the. We still have some of the money. Because then we decided to go. We decided to do some more partying. By partying with the Porcelain Princes. The way you get experience points in this game is to carouse, which costs money, of course, and you don't know how much money it is until you roll some dice.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a really good time. I like to imagine that basically. I like to think that he got into a high stakes poker game and sort of won.
But you were playing against the multi-body princes, so they were all cheating.
Yeah, sort of what it was like. It was like when you go to Vegas and you play the slot machines. It makes you think you win even when you're not.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I think in this weird complicated card game that the Porcelain Princes were trying to teach Phaedrid, I think he only kind of half knew what was going on, so it was pretty easy for them to take advantage of him. But at the same time, he had a really good time. Drank it being a casino kind of place, the drinks were flowing freely, and he sure thought they were on the house.
They were not.
They were not on the house. It's like that scene in the Blues Brothers. Well, let's see. We owe you $200 for your performance, and you drank $500 worth of beer. So you owe us $300.
Yep. Only this time it was $1,800, I think, thereabouts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or cash.
Yeah, I rolled, and when you roll on this, when you roll on the table, sixes explode. So I ended up owing 1,800 cash, which was 1,700 more cash than I had. So I've got a really big IOU right now.
Yeah.
But also during the course of that, I also learned a new spell, so that was cool.
Yeah. I'm pasting a map of the Porcelain Citadel in chat. It's also on a tab in the character keeper under Porcelain Citadel. Yeah, so just to recap, like what it looks like. It looks here's the that's the actual citadel there. This um it is the actual citadel is that the horns up on top of a hill. That's where most of the princes live. The princes are these multi-body entities. They share a group mind over two or more bodies, and they all have these porcelain masks on. So they live up there. There's a bunch of smaller houses like around the area. Some with locals, some with folks from the Rainbow Lands out east, which is where you all are from, and some the lowest line of houses that um, house people who are either waiting to be integrated into Porcelain Prince multibody, or maybe have been integrated and cast off. There were some unfortunates outside of town who were in very bad shape and just basically waiting to die or be recycled outside there. So that's a kind of side place.
Oh, and there's a ring of like half buried golems that are a defense that are some kind of defense grid.
Those little guys.
Yeah, yeah. So I changed my background to be the
Nice.
porcelain citadel.
Yeah,
Um,
and there's a bunch
yeah,
of dead bodies around them too.
yeah. You don't want to go too close to those things. They make you really uneasy, and if you like follow, and they seem to like seep, they seem to draw your life energy.
Mm-hmm. They've been there for a while. There's the two sarais. Those are the sarais of the encampments where travelers go. There's one for the princes and one's for the satraps, who all look like spacemen, like they are spacesuits basically, in various primary colors. There's a couple ponds. There's some bridges and dams. There's a couple like clubs. There's a your life burns faster in this house, which is for beatniks and revolutionaries, basically. And then the House of the Unbowed Cardinal on the west side, which is I don't know, what is that like. The House of the Unbowed Cardinal is oh,
I don't think we've explored that yet.
that's a barbecue joint. Yeah. Primarily. So that's fun. Yeah, so I think we'll kick off. Well, first off, I'm curious, Modan. Um, so you've traveled here from somewhere else, right? Do you have a background of like where you were from originally?
Yeah, I have my family has a bean farm, or a
Hmm.
legume farm, and so yeah, I feel like that's kind of in a remote, obviously not part of a city or whatever, kind of somewhere
Hmm.
out in a more remote where we can spread our crops and farm the beans,
Nice.
and apparently at some point we got, I think in an effort to barter, we are not vegetarians, so we do like the meat. And so we would try to barter, our vegetables for meat, but sadly, like meat's worth a lot more.
Hmm.
So like you can't really grow enough vegetables to trade for it. So we have just gotten further and further in debt with
Mm.
the what was it? I said the butcher. What's it
Oh
called?
yeah, the butcher.
I'm
You
in.
have it written down on your.
I don't have it written down. I didn't know where to write it.
There's like all sorts of places for like notes and stuff at the bottom.
Yeah, I should do that. Trying to find it again. Repaying debts to the butcher bank.
The butcher bank, great.
I just think we've gotten further and further into debt because no amount of beans you can make up will trade for like a
Mm.
large animal to feed a farm. So we're hoping maybe I can find, in my travels, maybe I can get more exotic prices for my beans in other lands and
Hmm.
sell them as delicacies. And we have all different kinds of beans. Maybe hype it up in lands that maybe where they're not as common, where we can make more money, and hopefully pay back some of these debts to the butcher
Nice.
bank that we have incurred.
Cool. Do you there's not a lot of detail in the book that you have about the Rainbow Lands. Do you have a particular color place that you would like to be from?
I
Know
do.
anything about them?
I tend to lean towards purple. It's just my
Great,
thing.
great. So you're probably from around the Violet City
The
then,
Violet City.
which makes sense. Maybe the western reaches, the west, yeah, western reaches of the Violet City. If you look on the map tab, there's the grand long map in the Violet City. The bottom of the map is west, and you are traveling west. So probably some farmlands around the Circle Rim, maybe, which makes sense because that would be easier to get to where you are from instead of
Hmm.
going all the way around. Cool. What did you bring beans with you?
Oh yeah, I've got all kinds of beans, buddy.
Where are they?
I'm guessing they would largely be packed up, like I'm
Mhm.
scaring them loose. And I figured that might, it could also conceivably be part of my all-purpose kit, my traveler's
Mm.
kit.
Let's get you a pack animal too, since you were probably traveling out here that way.
Okie dokie.
Um, I'll even roll for it. How about that?
Eh,
You like those things. Let's see, pack animals, pack animals, pack animals. A lot of stuff in the book. Traveling, traveling, traveling. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling.
big doggy scrolling.
There we go. Transports. Mhm. Oh wow. Do you interesting. So there are, pack animals.
Mhm.
There are also other ways to carry things, including undead porters or like a sort of biotech machines.
Mhm.
What do you think they have on your farm mostly? Just plain animals or other stuff?
I do, yeah. I think there is also. I think there's mostly animals, animals that do not eat beans.
Hmm.
Gotta because that wouldn't work. And but they have also been starting to look into biomechanical ones, but those
Hmm.
a little more expensive. Yeah, they work out in the long term, but in the short term, you still have the money to. So we've only got, I think, like probably two biomechanical animals on the farm at this point.
Cool.
And then,
So you probably went off with a. Let's give you a like a. It's a horse with like a carapace, like a beetle. So it can carry you and a sack of goods. We'll say. Um, do you name your pack animals, or is it just the animal to you?
no, I do think, yeah, I think we have a bond.
Cool. So yeah, you got your pet there. Throw your sack of legumes somewhere. And yeah, so what made you stop here? Have you been having like selling things here, or you
Yeah, I'm
resting?
hoping, yeah, definitely hoping to, stop here and kind of almost like traveling merchant and see if I can unload some of my beans.
Hmm. Where did you try to hawk them first? The directly to the princes, to Rainbow Landers, to the satraps, the spacemen, someone else.
I feel like I would have tried to at least go straight to the princess and be
Hmm.
hopefully, try to
Excellent.
hype them up as these delicacies. And again, like we farm all kinds of different. So I have like, man, we got dessert beans, we got like booze beans that'll get you drunk. We got, man, I got. Do you
Nice.
know the glory of the bean?
Awesome. I think they were charmed by you. Um, cool. So, Phaedrid, I think you wake up with your hangover in great debt, and your primary debtor is on the NPC tab. It is Many Cracks Five Body, the Porcelain Prince, and I think they were probably the one that taught you the spell, the what's it called? Let the door open itself. And so the porcelain princes basically speak in one voice. So it's five voices in this perfect chorus. And I think like one of them brings you like a pitcher of water, and one is brewed tea. And It says, you did quite well in the game, but not well enough to cover your debts last night. Um, Normally, in a case such as yours, we would recommend integrating yourself into one of the into our make ourselves many cracks six body. However, I see that you are a moderately successful traveler and explorer, and you have
I would like to think so.
your caravan is with you. Um, so instead of immediately forfeiting yourself to the multi body, I would like to offer you an opportunity to
I'm
help.
listening. I am listening.
And I'm going to integrate your the discovery that you have banked here as well.
Oh, okay.
Um, Many Cracks says that a few weeks ago, a lone prospector stumbled into the Porcelain Citadel. They were in rough shape. They've been traveling on foot for too long without food and water, and they came from. They got turned around, and there are some salt flats to the north, southeast, about 5 days out, and they thought they were just delirious at first, but they were describing this kind of like a pool of this blue silver liquid that had bubbled out of the ground, surrounded by dozens and dozens of vomes, these biomechanical, violent, mechanical animals, basically, like animals that have been infected by some sort of like violent nanotech stuff. Super gross.
Alas, I am familiar with those creatures.
Yes,
with such creatures.
All over this area. But these ones were kind of arrayed around this pool, silent and still, and encased in this silver, whatever it is. Um, Many Cracks is intrigued and would give you directions and would like you to retrieve a jar of this stuff, whatever it is, so they can study it, maybe resell it, maybe find it useful enough to harvest some more later on.
And a jar of this stuff would bringing back a jar of this stuff would wipe the debt.
It would prevent your immediate integration into the multi-body. Yes.
Ah, yes.
Depending on if it's just mercury that, or if it's he was hallucinating and it's nothing. You'd best not show your face here again. And in fact, seeing as you are a traveler yourself, maybe it is in everyone's best interest if some of your companions, Serena, say, and the others, stay behind here while you go visit the pool.
Well, fair enough then. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I will accept this endeavor.
Great. I'm curious how. So in the course of the day of preparation and getting everything ready to go out that way, I'm curious how you run into Modan, or how you two run into each other.
You said something to the effect of you had a background in advertising. Is that correct?
I do indeed.
Yes.
I think you probably like see me hawking my wares, and I'm not bad at, but I think you probably see some ways in which I could improve my.
You're a farmer, not a salesman.
Yeah. I'm obviously not the greatest salesman.
I like that idea. I see this person who's obviously not from here attempting to sell his wares, and it's not going as well as it could.
Maybe they're trying to rip you off, and like you stopped them before. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, people are trying to rip you off, and yeah, I like that, and I intervene. And I intervene, and I start talking up your wares using some of your words and some of my own. like weaving some of the stuff you were saying into into actually a better pitch. And Phaedrid seems to have actually Phaedrid seems to be pretty good at this. I like to think that maybe Phaedrid started his career as a pitch man,
Mhm,
like you see
mhm.
at the boardwalk, and like segued that into a career. So yeah, he knows how to sell. He knows how to sell stuff because it says right here, advertising engineer.
Yeah, awesome. Um, can you make a this is gonna be charisma, I guess, right?
Well,
Which
charisma's more like luck.
yeah, that's right. Aura, I guess it would be, right?
I guess that aura. Yeah, that's the. Let's see.
Yeah.
Or is charisma? Hold on, I can never remember this stuff. Let me double check the rules. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure. Charisma is. Oh yeah, it would be charisma. Force of personality, luck, divine favor.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So that would be charisma. Okay, and that is
Cool. Just give me a D20. It's not this isn't a check. This is just a roll. So D20 plus one.
got it. Got it. Hold on. Let me bring up the dice roller. I know we've got one. There it is. D20. Okay, and my charisma is one. So I will roll a D20 and I will add one. That is a 19 on the dice,
Fantastic.
plus one is a
A
20.
20. Amazing. Great. I'm gonna follow that up with another thing just for a little bonus fun. Perfect. Oh, that's great. Um, cool. So I think the do you think it's the princes that are more interested or the satraps? Like how do you tailor your pitch?
I think I am tailoring it for the Porcelain Princess.
Fantastic.
Especially since I'm in debt to them right now, so I'm trying to
Mhm.
ingratiate myself to them, so that even if I do come back empty-handed, they're not going to like wipe my personality and move, like delete my overwrite my personality with one of with the prince that I owe a lot of money to.
Yeah, they're not gonna put you in the deep place or whatever it is. Great. So this goes amazing. They are very amenable to your pitch. This is a six body entity called this is Prince Endure six body, and they I think as you're pitching the different kinds of beans, um, they say they have a personal chef that is very good at preparing dishes that are best experienced by multiple palates. So if you can sell them some different kinds of beans, they can sort of cook separately and then eat as a meal together. That's going to be amazing. They're very excited about this and are willing to give you much higher than market price for that. They're willing to take that sack of beans off of you for 150 cash, which is like it's going to go for 50 in a regular market probably.
Right.
So if you want to make
I've
that sale, you definitely can.
I think I would play it down, of course, and be like, I mean, well, so usually I would get much more for that, but you're first time customers, and I like to, foster relationships. And I'm sure once you've had the beans, you're gonna want more. So it's to my benefit to cut you a deal. And you are the porcelain princess after all. You should get a discount. I can do 150.
Great, great. Go ahead and mark that cash down then. Um, cool. Fader, do you want to pitch the the journey to Modan?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that at that point I introduced myself, Phaedra Dotani of the. I I still haven't come up with a name for the company I work for. Of I that's been on my list to do on my downtime, and I haven't done it yet. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Um. Oh. Imagination Design Limited,
Ideal, yeah.
IDL. Hi.
Thank you so much.
extend my hand and introduce myself as as Phaedrid, and advertising engineer from IDL.
Ah, that explains why you're so good at selling my beans.
You looked like you needed a little bit of a help there, and I thought I'd jump in and give you a bit of an assist.
Very appreciated. I tripled what I would have taken back from that sack of beans if I was about to just take whatever they were offering. I thought it was probably the best I was going to get.
Fantastic, fantastic. Say, this seems to have been the sum total of your wares for sale. I was wondering if you might be interested in accompanying me on a little side hustle I have going.
Oh, yeah. I mean, part of the reason I, you know, do what I do is because doing the farming part is boring. I like the journeying part, you know.
Fair enough.
Everywhere I
Fair
go, I
enough.
can always take being orders and then like get them back home and come back with, you know.
This mission might be a little dangerous, but with
Ooh,
risk comes reward.
absolutely. I mean, there's dangers all over, and quite frankly, I think at least traveling in more than by myself definitely
So
wise.
so out of so at that point, Phaedrid goes and describes that he has been hired by the Porcelain Princes to go to this, and he's been hired by this particular Porcelain Prince to go to, and then he just like basically says the mission, like
Yeah.
go to this place. It's the pool that's got
Mhm.
these weird vomes around it. Could be dangerous, but we need to bring back. And I assume like he gave me a kind of jar that
Yeah. There's all sorts of containers all around. Yeah.
he's given me this particular container that wishes to get some of this fluid and bring it back for further study. In addition, if so that is the mission. Given other indications of what might be there, there may be other treasures there, and all they want is this. If there's anything else there, well, we could certainly take that for ourselves.
Well, this sounds right. My background is I'm a traveler, so I'm very adept at traveling, maps, stars, navigating,
Oh,
setting
fantastic.
camps, finding food and
Fantastic.
water, etiquette of the open lands.
Oh, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. You are just the fellow I was hoping to recruit on this hopefully profitable endeavor.
Well, seems fate has done us both a favor.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Cool. Phaedrid, I assume we're not taking the entire caravan.
I was especially since we've got a few. So I was assuming the rest of the group doesn't terribly object, and since they're not here, we're just going to like hand wave. Can we hand wave and say that that's fine? I was thinking of taking one of our. I'll take like one of our pack animals and one cart.
Okay.
That way we can, and maybe
Load
we'll
up.
take,
Yeah.
we'll load it up with, like maybe 2 sacks of supplies. That way we've got, because we bought a bunch of supplies. So yeah, I'll take, so I'll take donkey. So I'll take,
I also
yeah.
have
So
I have my beetle horse Bashika.
oh, fantastic.
I don't go
Fantastic.
anywhere without Bashika. So
So I'll take one of our donkeys, and I'll take the donkey and one of the carts, with 2 sacks of supplies.
Cool.
And then we'll take your horse and your horse beetle. And yeah, let's head off.
Fantastic. Cool. So this is off to the southeast. So it's kind of like to the south and kind of like heading back towards the Violet City a little bit, but only 5 days. Not it is quite far away at this point. So I'm going to add 5 days to our travel here. Red month. Oh, we're in the orange month now.
would my traveler's abilities anyway be able to help me shorten that journey?
It will not make it any longer for sure. It also helps with like foraging rolls and stuff like that. Cool, but this is you're in Orange Month now, middle of summer, beginning of summer, nice and cool, nice and easy. Um, it's not too bad. I'm gonna throw that's five, two, so 2, 3, 4, 9. Great. Um, cool. Um, along the way, hang on, I think I did some bad math. Just a second. Yeah, cool. I'll be calendar. 4 + 5 is 9. Minus 4 is 5. Great. 5 days away, not 5 weeks away. That's right. Okay. 4 + 5 minus 2. Yeah. 1 + 2 + 2 + 1. Math. Got it. Okay. We're in Orange Month 3. On the road. It's not quite a road because you're traveling overland. This is unexplored territory. You get past you get out of sight of the citadel, over some plains, and sure enough, traveling in the primarily untraveled direction that you're sent off, it transitions to salt flats after a few days. Um, Going is still pretty easy. The weather is holding up well, I think. And probably on like the fourth or so day, you see someone else traveling on foot. Um, they're coming from basically they're kind of like not parallel, but kind of like an intersecting path, kind of like from the south, but traveling in more or less the same direction. Um, this is a another traveler. They are traveling on foot, like I said. They don't seem to be carrying like too many like supplies or goods or weapons or anything like that. I'm gonna do a quick roll to see get some fun details for y'all. There we go. Oh, perfect. Yeah. She is kind of wrapped in some garments that you can tell are from the Rainbow Lands. Probably like looks like a Greenlander, but is kind of dressed in Blue Lander fashion. Blue Landers are were kind of like exiled and not treated great. So it looks like she's from that kind of area and kind of goes. It looks like she's altering path to meet you, and eventually, comes up against aside you, and waves you down. And
Hail and well met, fellow traveler.
hello. Um, what brings you out to the flats?
Well, we are looking for, well, specifically, we are looking for, we're following up on a rumor that we heard.
Mm,
And uh, I, I'll be vague, but I'll basically give the generic outline of what we're looking for. Hopefully, she might know where it is or might have more information about it.
yeah. Um, she introduces herself as Farfallon. She claims to be from Greenlands. She's traveled quite a way on foot the entire way. She looks like she's in remarkably good shape for someone who's been walking for months
Weeks.
at least, and kind of in good spirits, but sort of has a flat affect a little bit. And again, it's like swathed in fabrics. But he says she is an emissary from the Greenlands, to basically spread goodwill to the areas, and she has also kind of been drawn to a place similar to what you're describing, and asks if she may travel with you.
I look at Modan and I raise an eyebrow, and as if to say, I don't have it. Like my expression is attempting to say, I don't have an objection. Do you?
Yeah, I look agreeable. Like again, usually, the more the merrier.
Usually.
Yes, there's indeed safety in numbers. So yes, we can certainly join forces.
Fantastic. Um,
Should I? Can my beetle horse afford to take on another passenger? Could I?
yeah.
If she's on foot, I'm like, would you like to ride up on Bashika with me?
Yes, absolutely. Um, Great. Yeah. And so she kind of speaks in kind of a monotone. She is basically kind of halfway, just sort of talking about her homeland, and just, describing various people that she's met along the way. Half that, and half not grilling you, but kind of inquiring almost forced casually about your destination. Um, Especially Modan, since like she's right behind you on the beetle horse. What do you tell her any more information or speculation or ask her anything?
I try to play it off like, I'm just as a traveler. I love to see and map as many places as possible. And I met Phaedra in the city who did me a wonderful turn and helped me sell some of my goods. And in return, I agreed to join him on this journey and see a new land I had not seen before.
Amazing. What's the disposition like? How is she situated on your horse? Behind Is she behind you? I assume.
Yeah, I would guess that's probably the only real option, I guess.
Is she like does she have to hold on to you or hold on to the horse or like what's it look
I'm
like when two
I'm
people are
guessing our
traveling?
pace is probably pretty. We're not like galloping or
Yeah,
anything.
you're
So
kind of
yeah,
traveling.
I figured like she doesn't like have to cling on to me or anything. It depends on kind of how
I don't know if you're
comfortable.
I don't know if your saddle if it's a big animal, maybe it's like I've maybe there's a second pommel for like a second person to like ride
I
behind.
figure, yeah, I figure
Mhm.
there's probably
Yeah,
exactly
because you've got space for beans, so she's where the beans would usually be.
yeah. I think there's probably like a space that's kind of multi-purpose. It could be for a person or for pack stuff, so you
Yeah,
can kind of go either way with it.
yeah. And after a few hours of travel, she kind of she leans up against your back, and is like, "Forgive me, um, I've been traveling for quite a long time. I hope you don't mind me resting like this."
No, of course. Well, I mean, I was a bit. You obviously seemed fine when we met you, but before we started talking, I was worried if you were doing all right, being on foot so far out and without any apparent supplies. And
I
how
have
did you get this far about on foot without?
divine assistance.
Hmm.
And she kind of leans closer into your ear and says, "What what drives you to the silver pool? Is it merely the hope of payment, or is there something deeper? Are you a fellow traveler?"
I can only speak for myself, and it's definitely the journey and repaying a favor again to Phaedra, who helped me out in as a stranger in this land. So,
And when you get there, will you partake?
I'm not super familiar with exactly what you. I don't think Phaedra. Do I know any? He hasn't. I was trying to remember how many details Phaedra gave me about this.
The details that I gave you were pretty. Basically, I more or less shared the. I didn't share the why we're going, but I did share the like what we're supposed to do, which was I've been hired to get a jar of the get a jar of the liquid from the silver pool and bring it back.
Right. But like I don't know that it's part of you have this huge debt, right?
I did not tell you that I'm doing this. That I'm not doing. I wasn't hired. I'm doing this because the alternative was
Right.
bad.
That's unknown to me. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
I
oh,
did not share
Yeah,
that
right.
information.
you know about the destination, but not the
Yeah, yeah.
purpose.
I
Yeah,
said
so
I said
yeah,
that
I
I
could,
had been hired to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
this, which I guess is not
yeah,
exactly a lie.
not untrue necessarily.
So yeah, I think I responded. I was like, oh, I wasn't I wasn't aware of the partaking of anything was an option. As far
Mm.
as I know, we were just supposed to get a sample of this substance and bring it back. I mean, I didn't ask for many details. Like I said, I'm here mainly for the journey.
So the gods don't speak to you?
Do you mean that in a literal sense, as in like a person having a conversation with me, or more like things I feel or intuit from the stars and the sky?
Their voices aren't guiding you in your head, pulling you here.
Not in such a literal way as you seem to speak. No.
And she is whispering in your ear now. Do you desire divine assistance?
Is there a price for divine assistance?
Only accept.
I would need to know. I'm intrigued by this whole concept, but you speak in very vague terms, and I'm not. That could mean many different things to a traveler.
Will you allow
Uh,
the voice of the gods into your mind? They will guide you as they're guiding me. And her voice, I think, goes from the sort of flat affect to like there's like a 20% wet vocoder in there a little bit.
I mean, it's a very intriguing offer. I hope you will understand that I mean no disrespect to you or the gods whatsoever, but obviously I do not. This is all new to me. I am not familiar with the specifications of these gods you speak of, who they are, what they require of me, their beliefs, their dreams, it would seem, I hope you understand, foolhardy of me to just say yes to such a thing without further conversations and details. It does. Again, no disrespect meant whatsoever. I just
And
it's a
as
very
you're
big
kind of
concept.
as you're giving your explanation, you feel her tongue on your ear. And I would like you to roll an endurance check for me. I'm looking for a 13, so that's a D20 plus your endurance.
D20 plus my see
Oh, and Mike, you should
my.
have two hero dice, I think, at this point.
Yes,
Okay.
I should.
Hero dice are dice that you can add after a roll if you wish.
Mhm.
They're six-siders, so if you roll less than a 13 and you want to bump it up to a 13, you can add a hero dice.
Which basically just roll a d6 and add that.
Yeah.
And then also, yeah, and also the other thing you can do to them is basically like a healing die if you need
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Uh, you said plus my endurance, is that right?
Yes.
So d20 plus 1. D20 plus 1 is going to be, how about a 20?
Fantastic. Um, yeah, so you feel um, something crawl out of her mouth and try to work its way into your ear. You are able to prevent that from happening.
Right.
Tell me how.
I feel like as soon as that happens, like almost instinctually, and not meant as like a physical attack on her,
Mhm.
but more like the way you flail when you run into a spider web,
Yep.
with also my side intent, again, kind of trying to be hidden a bit, so it's not. I don't want it to be obvious, like get the off my horse, but the intent is like knocking her off my horse as I'm playing. Oh, what was that? Someone's so sorry. Someone's trying to fly in my ear.
I think with the 20 there, if you want her off your horse, she's off.
Yeah.
And she, Vader, do you see this Modan kind of like flailing and pushing her off the horse? And she falls to the ground and just sort of picks herself up, stands up. You see some of her wrappings have fallen away, and the side of her face and her neck going down, to where it is covered again. Fader, do you recognize this as a vome infection? She has sort of like black and silver mechanical bits growing out of her skin. And she kind of adjusts her mouth, and you see something like you only get a glimpse of it, but it's like some sort of like black metallic slug or something going back into her mouth. And she just sort of like adjusts herself and covers herself up again and starts walking back towards Modan's beetle horse as if to get back on unfazed.
Did we ever get her name?
Yes. And it was Farfallon.
Oh, yes.
Farfallon, thank you.
Farfallon di Dormenta.
Uh, like I call out. At this point, I'm like, I snap the reins to make the donkey pick up the pace of the cart I'm driving to get closer to Modan, and I say, I call out, Modan, what happened?
Something was trying to crawl into my ear.
I thought that might be.
Got rid of it, so it did not.
I thought that might be the case. Farfallon, I think our paths are going to diverge here. I suggest you take another route.
And I'm sure with your divine guidance that you will be fine.
I'm sure I will be until we meet again. You can easily outpace her.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
It was a pleasure having philosophical discussions with you.
Before you tried to stick a slug in my ear.
Yeah. That happens on the road sometimes,
See, that's what I was afraid of. Voices of gods or other parasites.
Yeah. So whatever infects animals to become vomes, violent organisms.
Can affect people.
Also animals. Yeah. So
I think I check as we're never stop moving. I start checking over Bashika, being like making sure there's no evidence that hopefully anything got in her ears.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, you're all good. Good.
Got it. So as we're going, and once we're clearly out of her earshot, Phaedra says, I don't know if you saw her, but she was infected with vomes.
And
she was a vome.
Yeah, I think you've in your travels you must have come across vome infected animals at some point.
Yeah,
especially.
And I'm going to say Phaedra will say that I've seen vome infected animals. I've seen vome animals. That was the first time I'd seen a vome infected person.
And what are the vome again? Exactly, they're mechanical things.
Violent organism, mechanical.
It's a violent organic organo. It stands for violent organomechanical entity. They're basically like biomechanoid things. They're animals or they're living creatures that have been infected by nanobots.
Yeah, it's another one of the anti-canon. We don't know exactly what it is, but
I'm pretty sure for the rest of this journey, I have that thing where I'm like, is there something on me? Is there something on me?
Yeah. This is an anti-canon setting, so it's not specific. It's not really spelled out what it is, except it is very clear that it is not good. Capital N, capital G,
and infectious.
I keep feeling things crawling on me now.
Festooned.
Just the wind in my robes.
Amazing. But you can easily outpace her. So she is left behind in the salt flats.
We do that.
There's probably one more evening of camping on your travels, but you're far enough away that she's not a concern.
Are you very well traveled, Phaedra? Have you had many travels?
Well, I've traveled around the Rainbow Lands a bit, mostly for various professional conferences. I've been to all 10 cities of the Decapolis. I've been to the Yellow Lands. I've been through the Greenlands. Spent some time in Violet City, and that's where that's where I undertook this endeavor.
And got in hock to some cat lords. Yeah.
It just seems like so often in these travels, when you meet someone like Farfalla, it never turns out well.
You've met Phaedra. That we're it's turning
I know, and
out.
that's why I'm like, I know. I'm hoping I'm not just naive, and I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
You know,
Maybe you're the bad one this time.
Phaedra shrugs and says, "Well, I mean, and there are, I mean, there's good people and there's not good people, and I guess, and looking over his shoulder, I guess there are infected people. It's dangerous out here. What can I say?"
And Phaedra, you haven't seen any infected humans yet, have you?
No, no, that was no. I was like, he will say that I have encountered vome creatures before
Hmm.
that were clearly, once like animal forms that were infected and were partially and are now biomechanical. She was the first. I had heard that it was possible for a person to become infected. She was the first I had actually encountered, at least as far as I know.
Yeah, and she seemed pretty normal up until the slug part.
Yeah, and I almost became one of them. Thing tried to go in my ear. All right, well, despite that encounter, I'm still gonna go with my gut that I can trust you.
Well,
You
thank
seem
you.
cool.
Thank you. I like to think so.
No electronics. Fantastic. So it's probably about midday the next day when you see the glittering in the flats in the distance. Um, you approach. There's the metal is gleaming in the sun near the ground, and as you get closer, you notice a couple things. Um, it's pretty much as described. There is a small-ish pool, like maybe 8 feet across, of like mercury, but kind of like more blue steel color. Um, it's not a circular pool; it's just like as if it had bubbled up from the ground somewhere. Um, is that true? Yeah, we'll say it's true. Um,
It's like a
and
spring. Is this
yeah,
bubbling up from the ground?
yeah, it's like a spring. Um, the other part is exactly what was described by many cracks, almost in like a regular formation. There are dozens of vomes of various species arrayed around it, all pointing towards it in this like circular fashion, maybe 2, 3, 4 deep, depending on where. There are anything from small animals like desert rats or prairie dogs, snakes, to more like wolf or cougar sized animals, even one or two looks like maybe pack animals that got lost and infected, and other things that may be larger and more dangerous. It's hard to tell because they're all encased, or you imagine they're encased. They're all covered with the same metal, steel, silver shape, and they're all immobile and silent as described. And you can see that from a ways off. How would you like to approach?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Did you hear Farfalla when she asked if we were going to partake? Is that
I
anything you know about?
She was
think I
whispering.
heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard. If she was whispering that into your ear, no. If she was talking in a normal voice, I perhaps would have. She said, "Partake of it."
Yes, and I wasn't sure if she meant the silver liquid.
That
So
would be
that's
my
nothing you've heard
guess.
of, is partaking of that, like people drinking from that or anything?
All I was tasked to do was to fill this jar of that liquid and bring it back.
Hmm.
So all of these vomes that are around it are like encased in steel
Yeah.
and appear to be immobile.
Yes.
So, yes, I have not heard of that, although I could imagine that if one were a vome, drinking this stuff might be good for you. I don't know. I am certainly not going to. In fact, I'm not sure if I want to touch that stuff.
That does seem like a dangerous prospect, judging from everything around us.
So what I think I'm going to do is like from I think maybe we'll approach the pool, but not like we'll get close to the pool, but maybe a few yards back from this ring of
Mhm.
immobile vomes. And I think I am and I turn to Modan and I say, unless you object, I'm interested in, shall we say, testing the waters and see what might happen if we do mess with this pool.
All right, we should probably form a
And
backup plan.
gets off and he gets off the cart and he looks on the ground for basically like a rock or something.
Interesting. This is salt flats, so there may not be many rocks around.
Hmm.
In fact, I'm going to say there are not.
There are not any rocks around.
It is
Okay.
just like dry, flat, cracked earth as far as you can.
Okay, so okay, it is literally a salt flat. Okay. Um, Alrighty then. Let me take a look here. So, looking into my techno. Okay, well, in that case, what do I want to pull out of my? Um, would it take a charge off of my techno resilient magitechno satchel to just like pull a random like can I like go through one of the sacks of supplies and get like a potato?
Yeah, yeah,
But
sure. Yeah.
okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to just going to like open up one of the sacks of supplies that we've got, pull out like a potato or something like that. Something that we're not necessarily going to miss if we lose it.
Mhm.
Um, and I look at Modan, I look at I look at the pool, and I'm going to chuck the potato into the pool and see what happens.
Interesting. And this from a couple yards away.
Yep.
Um, Interesting. The potato plops into the pool. Um, it Maybe you're too far away to be sure, but it looks like the liquid metal in the pool kind of almost like rose to accept the potato and pull it in. Um, but then the potato floats to the surface, uh, coated in this same material, and just sort of bobs there.
Hmm.
There was no reaction from the like ring of ohms around it.
No.
Okay. So here's what I'd like to do. I am going to scratch off a charge from my satchel, and I want to pull out a basically like a I I, I, I want to pull out basically like a pair of like blacksmith's tongs.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They're maybe like 3 feet long. And I look at Modan and I say, um, cover me. So I take the jar and I put them in the tongs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to approach the pool and I'm going to stand like at the edge of the pool and I'm going to gingerly like take the tong like hold the jar with the tongs and I'm going to try to like you know dip some like dip it in the pool and pull some out.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I want to. And what happens?
Great. So you're kind of like picking your way in between the
Picking my way in between these vomes. I'm
yeah.
gonna try to pick the smaller ones that to like go through. I don't want to like be next to like one the size of a buffalo or anything.
Hmm. Hmm. Great. So they remain immobile, almost like as you're passing by them, it's less like they were just like someone poured molten metal on them, and more like they are like you can see details, like you can see like hairs and pores and horns and whatnot. So like if they're indeed coated in metal, it is an extremely thin coating. It retains amazing detail if that is in fact what's happening.
Okay.
Um, as you are approaching the pool, once you get in within a couple of feet, you see the pool start to sort of buckle and ripple a little bit. And as you approach, a couple of long uh, fingers, I guess, or tendrils of this liquid sort of form up the top and sort of start like waving towards you a little bit. Do you continue with your plan?
I'm going to back away at this point.
And as you back away, they recede.
This seems like it's going to be more difficult than we thought.
Yes, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Hmm.
Just on a whim, I shout out, "Greetings, pool. Can you speak?"
There was no response.
It was worth a shot. I mean, it kind of seems sentient.
Wouldn't be the strangest thing I've encountered.
So how do we get a sample
So
without?
is the potato I chucked in? It's like still floating and
Yeah,
bobbing on the
just
surface.
yeah, just bobbing on the surface. And it's hard to see from this distance, but like it is same as like you can see every eye and bump on it.
But it is silver, it's not
It
potato. There
is,
it
yeah,
is.
it is coated in the metal.
How close was he when the fingers started like coming at him?
A few feet.
Oh, so it's pretty close. It wasn't like
Yeah.
yards away or anything.
Hmm. I'm
Indeed.
thinking. Doesn't look like any of my spells would be particularly helpful here. Well,
I don't suppose you. Oh.
I think I'm yeah, what the hell, you know? I think I'm going to go back. I think I'm going to go back to plan A and just try to do it really quickly.
Fantastic. Um, great. As again, same thing as your approach. Fingers start to extend. Um,
I want to
let's
avoid them and
let's
still
make
get some of this stuff.
yeah, let's make an agility test here. I
Great.
think this is going to be a hard test.
Okay. Do I get to? I mean, does my level come into play here?
Um, it
Would it
does
be
not.
agility? Would,
No, it's
okay.
your
No. Okay.
yeah. Unless you used your level to raise your agility, right?
I did not. I haven't raised my agility
Yeah.
through gaining levels. I was just wondering, like, what does being level 4 actually do for you? I didn't know if you like added that to your to like skills or anything like
No,
that.
no, it's just you use it to raise your stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you
Alrighty then.
do paradise. So worst comes to worst.
I do have hero dice. That is true. Okay. Well, my agility is 0, so let's see what happens. I got a 17.
You made it. Amazing.
Ah,
Um, great. So, yeah. So, you're able to get some liquid into the jar. I think are you just like, or are you doing something in particular to avoid?
I think just for special effects, I think he is I think he is going to try to like use some of his mind magic to um I think he is going to be like, attempting to use some of his magic to do this. I mean, he doesn't have a particular spell for this,
Right,
but
just kind of vibes.
eh.
just kind of vibes, like if this were the TV show, he'd be, like doing some kind of like, vague magical stuff, and like maybe like, trying to like before he approaches, like, he like makes some gestures in the air, and there's like, a few like runes appeared in the air, and that's like, kind of like some kind of protection thing. And as he goes to dip, some of these tendrils like move toward him, and like and they but the runes intercept, and there's like a little bit of a zap, and the tendril like backs away.
Um,
He scoops up some of the liquid, and then quickly retreats with it.
yeah. So you've got the stuff in the jar. It's also like on the outside of the jar and on the end of the tongs as well.
Okay.
Um,
So
and
once I get it back, so what I'd like to do is like once I get it back to once I get it back to like close to where our cart is, I'm going to set it on the ground, like pull the tongs away, and does it looks like the stuff is like on the end of the tongs? Does it look like it's continuing?
yeah, as you were bringing it back, it is kind of like you can see the stuff in the jar kind of moving a little bit, and the stuff on the tongs is kind of seeping towards where you're holding it.
Okay.
You are able
So
to
when I
get hit
Yep,
by it.
no, that's what I find. So set it on the ground, and I will toss the tongs. I will toss the tongs away.
Fantastic. And the tongs just clatter there, and they're eventually completely encased. Um,
And I assume like the exterior of the jar is the same thing.
it is, yeah. Modan.
Yes. So is the
um,
jar? Where is the jar exactly now?
I set it on the ground, like maybe a few yards away from my cart.
So it
mhm.
is like separate. It looks encased, but it's like it's separated from the pool, right? It's not like still
Yeah,
connected
yeah.
by
You brought it back
strings
to
of
like
rope or
where
whatever.
you guys
Yeah.
hung out
Okay.
outside the ring of
Right.
bones. Speaking of, um, one of them, um, where is it? One of them, one of the ones closest to where you kind of stopped. Um, it's like a kind of like a giant dog with a scorpion tail, kind of.
Mm.
Um, it starts to the like move some, and it's you can tell there's movement inside the shell of what it is, and you can see the back of it starting to split.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
That is not good. Trying to think, do I have anything that I can use to like trap this? Anything I can use to trap this thing in such a way that it's not going to like continue? Oh, when I set the jar on the ground, is like the stuff like flowing out, and like is like the metal expanding on the
No,
ground,
it's just
or
covering the jar itself. It's not
just covering the
expanding.
jar itself?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
It's
and I assume that
around
we
it. That's
had
yeah,
some kind of a lid for this jar,
yeah. Yeah. I'm
um,
thinking it's like a big ceramic like jar
like a
with
big
like a wine jug kind of.
yeah, with like like with a like a big cork or something.
Yeah, like a big ceramic. Uh,
Oh, like a big ceramic, like a Grolsch cap, like it
yeah, yeah.
flips over,
It's got the
it
slant.
latches and pulls down.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Being very careful not to touch it with my hands, or maybe I'll pick up the tongs, and assuming the handles aren't fully, I want to seal the jar.
Hmm. The entire tongs are completely
Oh,
covered.
the entire tongs are okay. So yeah. But yeah, I want to seal that. I want to seal that jar, and
And you can see the back of this scorpion dog kind of emerging from kind of like a cicada shell almost, only metal.
How close is it to the
It's
pool
very close.
to us.
Yes.
and to the
Okay,
pool?
Uh, it's
and to the
it's
pool.
it's like almost like directly between you and the pool.
Okay.
But I mean, like, how is it conceivably? Could it be knocked into the pool, or is it not that
It's
close to
it's like
the
on the outer ring, so it is. Yeah, it's not next to
pool? I don't really know what else to do but get my traditional rifle ready.
the Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna seal the jar, and like when I see that other thing happening, I'm just gonna slap it shut and lock it. And if that exposes me to it, well, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
When you sorry, are you doing it with your hands or the you're holding on to
I'm
the
gonna
tongs
grab
or
I think from my satchel, I think from my satchel, and I'm like mark another charge off of this. I'm gonna grab a pair of like really heavy duty leather gloves.
hmm.
I'm gonna put those on first, and then I'm gonna like close and seal the jar.
Great, great. Um, you feel like you expect like you're probably of the age where you've played with mercury before. I think we all are. It's you know,
What's a? I mean, it's
yeah,
perfectly fine. I mean,
it's always like one
what's a
little
little heavy?
always for
What's a
kids.
little heavy metal poisoning?
But it's like it's not like slippery per se, but it's definitely liquid, right? Um, it does not feel like that when you grab it. It feels like it is hardened into a magic shell, kind of.
Okay. Okay, good. So I close and seal the jar, and it feels
Mhm.
solid, like it's not
Yes,
coming off.
yeah. The outside
Okay.
feels solid.
Well, in that case, I'll like with the gloves on, I'm gonna like pick it up. I'm gonna set it in the cart.
Hmm.
Snap off my gloves. Look at the gloves. It hasn't come off onto the gloves.
Did not come off on the gloves.
Okay, good. I'll
It's
take
almost as
those
if like
off.
it came out and dried, and then it was.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm gonna put the sealed jar in the cart. Hop on the cart, and let's get out of here before that scorpion dog wakes up and starts chasing us, which it's probably going to do anyway.
I think it
Hiya.
has. I think it has come out while you're doing this rigmarole. Um, Modan, can I get a charisma roll from you
Hey, at least that's my best roll.
on my
So that's just a
reaction
D20
table?
plus 3.
Yeah, D20 plus three.
22.
Oh shit. Um, yeah. So this is a dog like the size of a horse with a scorpion tail, basically. And it is
Not at all intimidating.
it's like almost like a hyena head ish kind of dog. And it's kind of like broken out of this shell and kind of like shaking it off. And it it does not look as if it does not have any visible signs of vome infection.
Hmm.
Um, although when Phaedrid, when you were walking between them, you could see clearly as it was very the detailed coverings of it. You could see definitely like definite signs of the biomechanical stuff on these animals that you've come across. Every single one was of vome.
Okay, but when it comes out of its shell, it's not.
When it comes out of its shell, it does not have any vome characteristics, and in fact, it. So, Modan, how are you? What are you doing while it's coming out?
I mean, I'm just ready with my rifle. I didn't want to. I kind of like. You, so I'm ready to shoot if necessary, if it starts looking like it's charging at us, but I'm still waiting. I'm not just preemptively going, I'm going to kill it.
Yeah. It like how far away are you like parked from it, basically?
I figured while Phaedrid was doing their thing that I was trying to be at a safe distance. So like if something did happen to them, I would be at a safe enough distance to hopefully react and
Hmm.
not be attacked by the same thing.
Yeah.
So, but not too far away. So I don't know. Like
Yeah. After it shakes itself off and kind of gets its self oriented, it sees you, and its ears kind of like prick up and then go forward a little bit,
mm-hmm.
and it sort of like does that sort of like gets lower to the ground and sort of like it's not crawling, but it's like slowly like walking towards you, kind of like
slinking toward us.
not like slinking in a friendly way, I guess.
Okay.
I'm just like, oh, like, do you have treats
Food
for me, kind of?
I think my instinct would be to kind of spur Bashika to back away, still keeping a beat on it, but like trying to back away.
Yeah, when you do that, kind of like jerks back a little bit, like, oh, but then like starts like a dog, like when it's like it knows it's not supposed to go in the kitchen, but kind of like paws as close as possible, kind of like doing that.
Do anything? Is there anything?
It seems like a giant horse-sized puppy with a scorpion tail at this point.
I mean, if I'm back on the cart, can I like again like grab some food from one of our supply sacks and like give it a treat? Like
yeah.
toss some food at it.
Yeah, it'll definitely like if you're tossing the food, it will definitely take it and then kind of like creep closer. Like, hey, do you have some more of that good stuff there? Do you have
Got it. Well, I was going to say basically I wanted to like throw it some food and then like while it was eating that, like let's leave.
GTFO, yeah. I'm down with that plan.
It seems crestfallen when you leave.
New friend.
Probably could have been a new pet if you wanted it, but maybe
I was a little afraid of that, so
probably not the safest.
I was going to say I didn't want a horse-sized dog with a scorpion tail. That seems a little dangerous.
Well, and also I was afraid like one of those things was like as long as we had treats, and then eventually the treats gotta stop. We can't just keep feeding it treats forever. And then at that point, does it get pissed off and start scorpion tailing
22
us?
on your reaction roll, so it was like best friends immediately with you.
I think we're all a little on edge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We already had a Vome try to get in my ear. Pool try to grab us, and Vome's all around. The pool is just like, guys, just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but this one had no signs of Vome infection. Like almost as if
maybe the pool heals Vomes.
Had like cleared it up a little bit.
Yeah. That is possible. Maybe it heals the Vomes. That's interesting. Anyway,
but you got to jar it now.
I wouldn't.
We got to jar the stuff.
Yeah, I would think Farfella would have wanted to partake if it, assuming that they knew it clears up Vome.
Yeah, well, you've got an opportunity to find out because on the way back, she is like a few hours away from the pool. You will pass her. You can stop if you want to, or you can just ride by and be like, out.
I mean, we could ask her what she knows of the pool.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, why don't we do that? Let's stop. Let's stop in like parlay distance. Like a few yards, not several yards from her. Not like close enough for her to like decide to go feral on us and like jump on us like a fast zombie or something like that.
Put things in our ears.
She will continue walking towards the pool as she's talking to you. If you are in between her and the pool,
we don't get between her and the pool. We'll like go on the side, so she like goes in that way.
Yeah, she's not pursuing you.
Okay.
But
I will
talk to you in a calm sort of not monotone but flat voice, and say, "Oh, I see that you have visited."
We did visit the pool, and as we were charged, we've taken a sample.
And did you partake?
No.
So just to be clear, you're asking if we drank from the silver pool?
If you allow the pool to do what it will with you.
What happens?
That would be my question.
Yeah.
You will. The gods just tell me to go there and accept what happens.
Oh.
So you don't know what the gods' intent is?
I know they only intend the best for me.
All right.
I think I get like real close I take it while she's talking, she's still just kind of
Yeah, she's
tracking the
just kind of like
bones.
walking like at a normal pace.
I think I pull up real close to Phaedra and go like, look, this may be the dumbest thing I've ever suggested, but I kind of want to see what happens to her if she drinks from the pool. Maybe she'll be
Adrid
okay after that and need help.
Adrid nods and says, I am also curious as to what is actually going to happen here. Um, the I'm not sure if I entirely trust the people who hired me to accept to bring this, and I don't entirely know what they want to do with it. So, knowing what its effects are might make me change my mind as to like delivering this to my current employer. Yes, I agree. Let's follow it. Let's follow it a distance and watch.
I feel like she would probably notice. So I mean, I think I would ask, like, Farfella,
Mm.
do you mind if we accompany from a distance to watch your partaking of the pool and how the gods deem to transform your journey?
No, do what you will,
Okay, just didn't want to be like creepy stalkers. Just
as long as you don't interfere with me.
no. I mean, absolutely. We're not here to interfere in your journeys.
But we are but we are interested in the culmination of what your God's plans had, what your God's plans were for you.
As am I.
Yes, the pool is very unique, and as a traveler, once in a lifetime experience to witness.
I have not seen such a thing before.
So it's a few hours out.
Out of character, can I ask for a quick break here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally forgot about that. 5 good?
Yep,
Cool.
absolutely.
Cool. We'll see y'all in 5.
I
Pausing. Alrighty. So we're following what's her name? Farfallon. Following Farfallon back to the pool. And she she just continues peacefully. Follow behind her easily. And you reach the pool. Has your friend left or not? Let's see. Yeah, it's waiting there for you.
hey, buddy.
And he, like, it's hard to tell if a scorpion tail wags,
Yeah,
but it looks like it does a little bit. Kind of like twitches a little bit, feels a little threatening, but I think it intended it in a friendly way. And if you allow it, it will come up and like kind of like snuffle at you a little bit.
I figure I kind of leave that to. I think Bashika has a net. Like if Bashika doesn't back away or get weird about it,
Yeah, see, like it's approaching in a way that is friendly enough that I think Bashika does not shy away from it at all.
I think I'll give it the benefit of the doubt until it gives me reason not to.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of just like it will just follow you a little bit until you shoot away. Like a horse. But yeah, so she just walks, picks her way through the vomes there, and kneels at the side of the pool. The little finger tendrils come up and touch her here and here and here, and the metal starts to spread across her skin. And as it's doing that, she takes some steps back and kind of like finds a place and arrangement around the pool where there is space for her to sort of like kneel down or sit down, and does that. And she becomes completely covered with the metal stuff and is there.
Got it. I'm imagining she's like sitting in lotus positions with her hands up like that. I think that would just be cool.
I think she's like just sitting with like her hands on her knees, like just
okay,
facing forward. Yeah, it's like very simple. You just kind of like accepting the thing,
and she just sits there and doesn't move, kind of like the rest of those vomes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the question: is what made this? Did we notice anything particularly trigger the one that? Like the one that came out of the shell that had like, did we got near it, or did it just seem random, or did
it just seemed It was its time.
Oh, right, right. So it wasn't like, oh, we got too close and it
No, it
triggered.
just happened to be one close to you.
So, huh. So it could be a while before she
Or she
emerges from
emerges.
her cocoon or whatever happens here.
Yeah, this does seem like a cocoon. Oddly, the so the chrysalis that that our scorpion dog came out of, like
Yeah.
looking at it, is that still there, or has that like
Yeah, it's still there
collapsed?
if you
Or
want to take a look at it.
yeah, I want to take a look at it.
Good
Yeah.
idea.
Does it still look like it? Does like the exterior? Does it still look like it was
Boom.
a vome when it
It
went in
was.
there?
Yeah.
And it's not a vome now.
Yeah. I think as you're inspecting it, like it's been a few hours, and you can feel it starting to soften, I think. But you can still see the the not intricate details, but they're still there. It's like it was clearly a bone when it was encased.
Okay,
So I feel like
interesting.
this pool devomes things, but then that would beg the question, why would vome infected things be feeling like they're called to come here and
Here,
get devomed?
that is an excellent question. I don't have any answer for that.
I think I'm
But
gonna.
this could be a cure for a vome infection,
Could be.
which would be quite the discovery. And I look at our friend of the porcelain dog, or the scorpion
Scorpion
dog,
dog.
and
Mhm.
think that, perhaps, perhaps someone with more knowledge of things than I could examine this creature to make sure that it is indeed not a vome anymore.
Hmm.
So if it is friendly, I suppose we can let it return to the city with us.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Do we just leave Farfella here? Because we don't.
I don't know what else to do. I mean, she was
Okay.
going there on her own anyway.
I wanted to see what happened to her, but we don't know how long that will take. Could be
Is it
weeks, months,
is it
potentially
hours?
years.
Is it months? Is it years? We don't know.
How long are you
We
willing to
don't.
wait to see if anything happens?
We could, you know what? It's no journey. Maybe we could at least camp here for the night.
I'm okay with that. Like maybe not so close.
Well,
Like
yeah,
let's maybe back away. Let's like maybe back away like,
yeah.
a good like
Well,
quarter mile from
this
here.
is in my purview. I could also make us a camp that's pretty well concealed as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think if
Yeah,
you do
why don't
that,
we do
there's
that?
no trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why don't we go back a ways? I mean, it's a salt flat, so it's perfectly flat, so we could presumably like see things
Hmm.
off. Well, maybe not at night, but yeah, why don't we do that?
Cool.
Spend
Um,
one more night out here, and in the morning we'll check out and you know see if it's still the same situation.
yeah.
Did we notice if any did we notice any of the other vomes that were cased there? Any others have left since we left and then came
Oh, good
back?
point. Okay, any other
You
empty
don't know if
shells?
they've specifically left, but you do see that there are a few shells around, like and smaller ones, like the like foam rats or some snakes,
Rats or
centipedes.
gophers or something like that. Okay. Yeah, let's spend the night and see what happens, and then check things out at first light. And if I would say that if the situation hasn't changed, let's just go back to the Citadel.
Yeah. Cool. There's no roll or anything involved. You're totally capable of making camp, no problem. Um, yeah, so you can camp out there overnight, add a day there, which you did, and yeah, I think so. It was early evening when this happened. I think late afternoon. She is still encased for now. Do you want to stay today? Do you want to leave
I
immediately?
think we should. I think we should head back like once more like once morning once. If it's okay with you,
Yeah,
Modan, I
totally.
say
Because
that
again, we
since
just have
it's
no idea how long this process could take. We
I don't
can't
want to
just
wait
stay
here. I
here.
don't want to wait here
No.
weeks. Let's yeah, let's head back.
Cool.
Oh, you know what? If I'm going to pick up the coated tongs
Oh
as
yeah,
well that I
yeah.
tossed. I'm going to grab those.
I think actually they're not coated anymore.
They aren't coated anymore.
They've
Yeah,
been defoamed.
they've and a cursory examination of the area shows that there is some of the liquid kind of like streaked, like almost as if it is like slowly making its way back.
Slowly make its way back to the pool. Okay. Is that true of the jar as well? The
Um,
exterior of the jar?
you know what? Yeah, let's say it is. Yeah,
Okay, and it's
and it's probably in the flats somewhere. So slowly making
okay.
it back.
So in the journey there and back when I checked the jar, the coating on the
The
outside
outside
of
of
the
the jar.
jar,
Yeah,
it left off and it's presumably is like dribble like oozing its way back to the pool.
yep, yeah.
But the jar is still full.
The
The
jar is
closed
still
jar.
full. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's sealed.
Yeah.
It's sealed.
Yeah,
Well, I'll pick up the tongs and throw those in. I guess those might come in handy in the future.
yeah. Cool. On the way back, we'll save the week events and stuff for next time you head
Sure.
out. So we'll say without further stuff, you know the way back easily. It takes you, you know, the amount of time to get back, and yeah. What do you do when you return?
I'm going to um, well, Modan, I thank you for accompanying me. This was very interesting, and I was very glad to have the company. I'm sorry that there wasn't really more treasure out there to be had.
Oh no, the treasure is the journey.
It
There
is.
we go.
Yeah.
And I
Actually,
will also say that if you are interested,
the treasure is in fact the journey. You each get 300 XP for going on that discovery.
nice.
Yeah.
Each get
And you
300
can, if you
XP.
just change the XP Modan experience there, it should automatically change level and whatnot if you level up.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's 650 to level up, but it takes care of all the math when you do experience.
Nice.
Yep. And I say, so I'm going to go bring this to my employer, and
Mhm.
we'll see what reward I get for it.
Yeah.
Modan, if you are interested in traveling, I am part of a traveling company that is heading far to the west. We are intending to go all the way to the Black City, which is quite the journey. Would you be interested in joining us?
Absolutely. As I said, I can always sell my wares, and I figure there's a system where I can like get the orders back to the farm, and they can get the beans delivered if I manage to sell
Probably
them.
some way to do that. Yeah.
Pre-sell beans.
Hire some couriers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sell bean futures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are rules for setting up trade routes.
There you go. That's exactly what I would do.
That requires some investment, but you can get there. Yeah, so it's not hard it's not hard to track down many cracks by body. They are where you met them last time. Probably at the Sarai.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I'll head over with the jar and let him know that I found the pool and I have retrieved a sample as you requested.
Fantastic.
I
I
will
think
also
we'll knock
I
off
will also
1100 from your debt.
knock off 1100 from my debt.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow, that's a good chunk.
Yeah.
that is a good chunk. So I only owe 700.
Yeah. What do you tell them about it?
Um, you know, this guy was a straight shooter. I don't think I'm going to. I don't think I'm going to. I don't think I'm going to like. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to lie or anything like that. I'm going to tell him it was interesting. There were. It's interesting. There was indeed the story was true. It was a pool of what appeared to be quicksilver. It's not quicksilver. It it seems to, for whatever reason, it seems to attract vomes to it. In fact, we met a traveler who was seeking it out who turned out to be infected.
A human?
A human.
There's no expression on the porcelain mask, but they go silent for a moment.
We met a human who was infected, and
This is of some concern.
we didn't know she was infected at first. But what is interesting is, but she was called to this, and well, I mean, did attempt to infect one of us until we. That's how we realized she was a vome, and then we let her, and we cut her a wide berth. We did follow her, but we were mounted. She was not. After we had retrieved the sample, when we were there, we found that there were these encased vomes, and one of those creatures, like encased in metal, broke through the chrysalis as if it were a butterfly leaving its chrysalis, and it wasn't did not appear to be a vome anymore. It seemed to be a normal creature, um, which was friendly to us.
Well, you clearly have no signs of infection yourself, or the defense golems would have incinerated you at the border.
Fair enough. Um,
Good to know.
Good to know. The woman we had encountered who was infected, she let us follow her because we were curious as to what would happen. She was called there by voices in her head. She approached the pool. The pool sent up tendrils toward her, touched her. It coated her in the metal. She then took a seat around with the other vomes that were immobile, and as far as I know, is still sitting there, coated, immobile. I would imagine at some point in the future that's going to split open and she's going to step forth and not be a vome anymore.
So you're saying this contains a cure for vome infection?
That is my guess. I have
Although
only
it's
seen it
hard to
once.
say.
It's hard to say. We haven't seen the whole process.
It seemed almost sentient, so I don't know if a sample separated from the main body would still have any effect, or if it's, I don't know if it's a living creature or not, but it definitely seemed sentient.
And this other creature that emerged untouched shows no signs of reinfection.
I'm guessing the defense columns didn't incinerate it, it followed us here, so.
Oh, that
Scorpo, yes.
they are generally quite hostile,
Hmm.
even when not infected. Did you tame it somehow?
I mean, my sparkling personality.
They are silent for a moment.
We gave it a snack when it first emerged and seemed to be.
We've been nice to it.
When it emerged from its casing, it seemed friendly and
It acted
hungry.
like a puppy.
It did.
In fact, it's still acting like a puppy.
So
Yeah, and
maybe when
it's
it
like it's
emerged,
rolling on its back right now in the
perhaps it
dust.
emerged as like a newborn dog scorpion thing that has not yet learned to hunt or hate or fear.
Is it yours?
I think it is now.
It seems to have taken a shine to us because
Who's a
I
good
think because
Scorpo?
we showed it mercy and
Very interesting. Would you be willing to part with it for study?
mm,
I can wipe out the rest of your debt.
mm.
Clean slate.
I look at Modan and I look at Modan and
What kind of study?
Oh, inspection, internal and external
you're
dissection.
not. Are you planning to dissect it?
Yes, of course.
I don't feel good about that.
Not sure if I do either.
As much as I would love to wipe out your debt, I don't know that I could have a clear conscience having traded a living thing for a monetary debt.
It is a beast.
As you said yourself, it sure doesn't seem to act like much of a beast.
Even uninfected, the scorpion dogs are a problem in the wastes.
This one has not been.
We intend to train it, make it into a pet. I think we'll you'll be hearing from my agent. I will send payments as I can. I honor my debts, and you will be repaid. We have invested some of our other funds in more trade goods, and we will continue to trade.
I'll look forward to your return.
As do I. I prefer not to have debts. I prefer not to have debts hanging over my head. I will clear what I owe as soon as I'm fiscally able to do so.
Indeed. All right. You have a new pet right now.
That's awesome. I think it's yours, Modan. You were the one who you're the one who tamed him.
It's true, without even knowing how.
Without even knowing how. Great. I feel like that's a good place to break.
I think you're right. I think so too.
Yeah. Unless there's anything pressing you want to do at the Citadel right now, we can call it here.
No, I mean, the last session I attended, we did trading and got ready to move to our next destination.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we're pretty much. I can't think of anything else to do in the Citadel. I certainly don't want to go carousing again because I don't want to end up in. I don't want to end up in. I don't want to end up in Hawk to my eyeballs again.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, cool. We'll call it here, and sweet. We'll pick up next week with everyone. Heath, you're of course welcome to join us if you would like. Yeah, we got room in the caravan.
We do indeed. Love to have you.
Sweet. Make sure you mark down that experience if you have not.
I have.
Just add it to your row 16 there.
Nice.
So Modan should be up to 600 now, I think.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, let's do some stars and wishes. We'll kick it off with Mike.
Yeah, stars all around. This is. I love UPG. It's so freaking weird. Start to you, Mark, for setting up this whole situation, finding a new discovery for us to go to. And as usual, that discovery was really weird. I loved I loved the interactions with the two NPCs we had interactions with, both the Porcelain Prince and with what's her name? Our vome infected
Farfella.
Farfella.
Both very interesting NPCs. I wouldn't mind crossing paths with either of them again at some point in the future. I mean, I will need to deal with 7-part, whatever his name is, or 6 parts.
Many cracks 5 body. Yeah.
Many cracks 5 body. I will have to deal with him again because I still owe him 700 coin.
Yep.
That whole the whole little and the whole situation was just weird. I loved it.
All completely randomly, like every single bit of it was from a roll on a random table. Farfella, everything.
I love it. Heath, great meeting you. I think I'm almost positive this is the first time we've played together. Super fun. I really enjoyed that. Modan seems like a really fun character. I loved our interplay. I loved the scene with you and Farfella. And like how how you gained a new pet. That was pretty cool. And the whole beans thing, I could get into that. I can get into that as a running gag. Yeah, a really fun session.
Any,
Stars all around. This is a joy.
any wishes?
Um, I think the only wish is to let's keep going and bring on the weird.
Right on. Cool. Heath then.
Yeah, also stars all around, awesome GMing as always, and yeah, it was fun. It's just being having a duo episode. I enjoyed it, and it was also easy to like. Yeah, I just like the way my character, as Mark knows, I absolutely love leaving things to randomness. So literally everything about my character was randomly generated. I rolled a die for it, and the first thing I rolled was like legume farmer. I'm like, okay, I'll roll with that, and. But then I thought it worked out so perfectly, just the way our backgrounds and how we met. I was like, oh, that's gonna be easy. And then yeah, and just like meeting Farfella was like, of course, I'm like this. As a player, I'm suspicious, but then I'm like just trying to roll with it and just be like, hey, man,
Hey,
fellow traveler, that's cool. I'm sure you're not gonna try to kill me or anything. It'll be awesome. And yeah, and then just the way it was also fun, and we definitely seemed of the same mind of like we're both just like it's just weird and creepy, and we better be super careful. And everybody's on edge, and it's just, get the hell out of here. And but then I'm glad also that at least thus far, Scorpo Dog didn't turn on us. It's fun having a new pet. I don't wishes just yeah. It's just always fun the more you play something and get more of a handle on it, and don't especially a first game in a new system when you're kind of like, how do I do anything? What can I do? So it gets more and more fun the more you know it, and the more you know your character, and more like, okay, I'll try this. I pull this thing out. But other than that, no, I mean it was.
OSR baby.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see more about. And I know there's nothing. It's up to us, but sort of what this whole repaying debts to the butcher bank means.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah, everyone's got some going after them.
How I'm gonna do it, and just sort of yeah, where that journey goes. So it'll be fun. Yeah, I'd love to play some more. Hopefully.
Awesome. Yeah, super great. Thanks, Heath, for jumping in. That was real fun.
This is fun.
Yeah, I think this is the second duo episode we've done. I think you and Gwen did it last time, and yeah, it's I love the entire group. This is like super fun, like doing like little side quests too. Yeah, so the system's really, or the setting, I guess, is really flexible to let you do that. Yeah, like I said, I like literally 5 minutes before we started, there's tables in the back of the book. There's like, here's how you roll up. There's like 14 D20 rolls to make a new discovery. And it gives you like a bunch of weird shit and you have to figure it out. And then Farfella was just a random encounter on the way there. And it all just like, it all made sense. It all worked together. So that was really cool. And I really like the way that it's interesting because Heath and I play a lot of like Brindlewood-y type games and stuff where it's just like running into danger is the thing to do, and the system supports that. It's a fun thing to do. Here, it's gonna kill you. So it's interesting playing more OSR kind of thing, but it's still super fun in a different way. Yeah, so good time all around. Yeah, wishes get Billy and Gwen back in, and hope Heath can join us again. And yeah, just see what's down the road. Sweet.
Fantastic.
Anything else before I stop the recording?
No, just cheers to the game for, again, being someone who loves randomness. I love that they had a table for everything.
So many tables.
Like, but it's also like, if you want to decide on something, that's fine too. You don't have to roll a table. You can just pick whatever you want. But for me, it was great. I was like, I'm going to roll everything off a table.
Yeah.
That's how I made my character. I just rolled everything.
Awesome. Until next time, I'm stopping the recording. Goodbye, internet.